All right. Finally, we'll be getting started. Welcome. Hi, Sarah. So we'll get started lying down on our backs this morning. If you can face the wall, that would be ideal with your feet to the wall. If you're at home and you don't really have a wall, it's totally fine. You can do the imaginary wall. But in principle, where we start is lying on your back with your feet flat against a vertical surface where you have support under your head and neck as and if needed. But if you don't need it or want it, totally fine not to take any height under your head. The interesting thing about lying on one's back is that it's pretty comfortable to go right into Shavasana. And although for some, I'm sure that would be awesome. For today, I'd like to have you place the backs of your heels on the mat and the soles of your feet against the floor, the wall, this vertical surface. And if you gently lift your head just a tick so you can see down the line of your body, check to see that your toes and knees are pointing straight up. And then push yourself into the wall as much as you can so that you feel the heels, the balls of the feet, the metatarsals, the tiptoe pads of your feet, and then each little toe pad press into the wall. And in principle, perhaps even spread your toes a little bit and still keep your little, it's like little tree frog toes. Stick your little tree frog toes against the wall, the little blobs at the end of your toes. And then if you're comfortable spreading your fingers and pressing your palms, as well as all of your fingertips, your fingerprints into the mat or the floor, whichever surface beside you feels accessible and comfortable, might be half on the mat, half off. It doesn't matter if it's a uniform surface or no. But as you breathe here, begin to gently balance out your shoulders, balance out your hips, keep the pressure of the soles, the balls, the toes, the fingers, the palms, and then see if you can stretch through the arms until you have gentle but clear pressure of shoulders, back of the upper arm, elbow, forearm, palms, fingers. As you breathe, slowly turn your chin from shoulder to shoulder just to ease the neck muscles a little bit. And if you do this and realize, wow, my neck is a little uncomfortable, you might pull a blanket under your head and neck if you didn't have one already placed there prior. Sometimes rolling up the blanket a little bit so the curl of the blanket buffers or bolsters, quite literally, the curve in your neck. That can be helpful. Now, as you dig in with your heels into the mat, flexing your feet, pressing into the wall, squeeze your buttock muscles and see if you can squeeze your inner thighs towards each other, even if the legs are not actually touching. Imagine you're squeezing a block or squeezing your thighs together. Feel your buttock muscles engage, and now keep the alignment of your legs, but relax your buttock muscles. Then engage the buttock muscles, squeezing them. Can you feel how the muscle rounds and lifts up a little bit off the floor and then goes splush when you let it go? And then rounds and becomes dense and firm as it contracts, and then bluch as it, right? Can you feel that? So let's continue 2 more times, warming up the gluteal muscles. Those hip muscles around the outer hips might also feel a little tired because of the orientation of your legs, which is still toes and knees facing the ceiling, not usually the relaxed position for many of us. 1 more time. Anybody feel their buttocks muscles getting a little fatigued? Wow, nobody? Okay. Squeeze the buttocks. Okay, good. And then relax. Now let your legs flop. Your feet might rotate a little bit outward. Take a moment just to rest. Then slowly bend one knee and bend the other. Bring your feet towards a bridge pose position, whereby if you reach down with your fingertips, you can maybe just barely touch with your longest fingers the back of your heel. Press down with your palms and press your low back flat into the mat. Then relax it. So now we're moving up the spine. So we engaged the buttocks. Now we're pressing the low back flat, which actually engages your abdominal muscles more so than your back per se. And relax. Hands can be on the abdomen if that helps you. Add the squeeze of your buttock muscles to the flattening of your low back and let it go. Deep inhale. Exhale, flatten and squeeze. And now we've added the breath. Inhale to relax at your own pace. Exhale to flatten and squeeze. Inhale to release. 2 more times. Flatten and squeeze your buttocks, squeeze your abdominals, flatten your back. Exhale and inhale, release. Last one. Squeeze the buttocks. Exhale, feel the space under your low back disappear. And release. All right. Now from here, what I want to do is squeeze my shoulder blades together so that I pull the shoulder blades in towards the spine and my chest lifts up a little bit. I press into my elbows, back of my head, and a little bit of space gets created underneath the upper spine. Then I slowly come back down and slide the shoulder blades away from each other. And sometimes the wrinkles between the shoulder blades are hard to unfurl. So you might pause a little longer and a little bit tuck your tailbone and pull your sacrum to the wall, flattening out your back again. Then we do it again. Scrunch your shoulder blades in towards each other, press through the backs of the arms and the back of the head, and try to lift your chest any amount. Don't worry if your rib cage doesn't actually leave the floor. And then release and stretch and spread the space between your shoulder blades and also flatten out your low back a little bit. So try to iron your back flat again. Again, little wrinkles might feel like they stay. Try to spread them as best you can. Can we do this 2 more times? Scrunching, rumpling up in between the space between the shoulder blades, crumples and squeezes. The chest rises. Notice tension in your neck, soften your eyes. Push with the elbows particularly, and then melt down. Stretch. One more time. Big inhale. Exhale, scrunch and lift. So this is elbows pressing. Try to keep the upper arm bone down, the shoulder down on the mat. Squeeze open the chest. And then finally, down you come. Now, if your blanket's in the way, you can remove it. I'd like to invite you to massage the back of your neck. So just taking your hands to the back of your neck, holding with one hand against the side of your neck, perhaps, and then cross-frictioning those muscle fibers along the spine there. You can switch it up. You can add a little bit towards the lower part of the bony part of your skull, right above the neck. That occipital ridge there. You have a lot of connections to muscles, and those can be tight, tight, tight. A little neck massage. All right. Then from here, we move into bridge pose. So I did remove my blanket because I'd like to have the maximum felt sense of space in my neck, but you do not need to. If you prefer to keep the blanket there, that's completely fine. This bridge pose will start with that same flat back action that we took prior. So press your low back flat. Reach your fingertips long and press through elbows, upper arm, shoulder, forearm, palms, and fingers. Squeeze the buttocks and slowly lift your hips, tucking the tailbone as you lift up. Draw the spine long, stomp your heels and pause. Feel the work in your feet. Big toe mounds, press. All those little toe blobs, press. Heel presses. I'm not sure what else to call those. Squeeze the buttocks, squeeze the inner thighs. Lengthen your knees away from your hips a little bit. Instead of working to an arch in the spine, think more of sort of a 2x4 kind of situation. Now slowly lower, but gently let your back lower flat. Instead of vertebra by vertebra, lower all the way down like a plank. And once you're down, relax. Let yourself sink like into deep mud. Big breath in. Exhale, flatten your back, squeeze your buttocks. Now you could stay right here. This can be a super helpful place to stay. It's lengthening those lumbar muscles, giving space between those vertebrae, and activating your abdominals, your buttocks, and your legs. So it's not exactly a cakewalk. Then slowly tuck your tailbone and lift your hips up. Breathing. I remember once we did the cakewalk thing when I was in grade school, and the cake I won was yucky. It was such a bummer. breathing. Squeeze your buttocks, stomp your heels, spread your toes. I was envisioning some delicious chocolate cake with frosting and sprinkles and the whole thing. And it was some kind of grown-up cake, with dried fruit in it. It was yucky. And then it'll slowly lower down not vertebra by vertebra, but nice long spine, neutral spine, baff onto the mat. Imagine there's a cake under your low back. Now squish it into the mat, squeeze your buttocks, and then we'll lift the hips up. I'm not sure why cakewalk. I said cakewalk, that's why. Squeeze the buttocks. Relax your jaw. It's this thing that you do when you're a kid and you're trying to raise money or something. Oh, it happened at the fair at my school. It was terrible. I'm scarred, and we'll slowly lower down. Back is flat. All the way down. Draw the left knee into the chest, not into compression at the hip joint, of course, holding the back of the thigh or the front of the shin, and reach your right leg long and circle your ankles broadly. Now, if you've been having any sensitivity in your Achilles tendons, right or left, see that you work both the point of the foot and the flex. And even if you haven't been having sensitivity in your Achilles tendons, can you fully flex your toes up to your knees as you're circling, and then fully point the toes like a ballet dancer all the way? So you're maximally moving through the range of motion available to you in your feet, both flex and point wise, as well as side to side wise. Circle the other way if you haven't already switched your circle direction. Exaggerate the movement. See if you can make it even more comprehensive. And then lower your left foot. Foot flat. Draw the right knee in. Now this knee into the chest has a second application, which is releasing the back. Stretch your left leg long. For some people, this can be super helpful. For example, in the morning, if you slink out of bed and just slide right onto the floor, hopefully something warmer than the cold, hard floor, circling your ankles and drawing the knee into the chest here to flatten out your back. So take a moment, not just to feel the circling of your feet and ankles and the spreading of your toes, but also notice whether pulling your right thigh in towards your chest has curved your lumbar spine and pressed it a little bit into the floor. Anybody notice that? Okay, so because for some, that kind of posterior flattening action in the lumbar spine, again, can be relaxing. So everybody's back discomfort is unique, though, so we explore it and identify those things that seem to be helpful. Let's put the right foot flat once more. All right, now, what I'd like to do is grab my block here, and I'm going to put that blanket back under my head simply because I find that a little softness underneath the body, even just the head and neck, can create some ease in the body as a whole that can be helpful, especially when you're going to do something like what we're going to do next, which I'm sure you're very excited about. Now, you can keep your knees together, feet squeezed together symmetrically, as I'm showing here with my knees squeezed together, my feet and ankles together symmetrical, or you can cross your right thigh over your left. For some, this can be nice. Susanna, I think maybe perhaps not, because we will be going into a twist after this. So I know that for you, twisting in this position, it hasn't been good before in the past. So either knees together, squeeze symmetrically, or cross right leg over left, but can you flex your feet? So the thighs are crossed, or the knees are squeezed together. The toes are spread, the feet are flexing. The block flat against the thigh. Palms flat against the block. The block is in landscape mode. Think Wyeth, the picture of the woman on the hill looking up behind her. Press the block into the thigh. Push the thigh into the block. Bend your elbows and hug your elbows to your side ribs. This one is a very kind of our origami-esque position where your elbows are symmetrical, but your legs are asymmetrical. There is some degree of kind of symmetry to the legs, but it's not pure. Squeeze the block with your palms, but push your legs into your block. The knees are not moving, but that's because the legs are working, and the arms are not moving, but that's also because the legs and arms are equally pressing each other. Anybody feel this in their core muscles? Okay, one more breath. I find this to be almost intolerable. How about you? Ugh. And then we slowly detangle and place your feet to the edges of the sticky mat, pop your block down and spread your arms wide. So you're like a little baby bat that's lying on the ground. Then lift up your toes and dig in with your heels and rock your knees gently side to side, any amount. Now you can always simply bring the knees into the chest and rock your whole torso side to side if moving your knees and thighs externally like that is uncomfortable. Yeah, so breathing, we either do the windshield wipers or knees into chest rocking to massage out your back. All right, couple more breaths here. As you go through the middle, can you flatten out your low back? This is a movement we've been doing quite a bit this morning. And this center position as you go from left to right is no exception. It's the same idea. Flatten out that back. Breathing in. Excellent. All right. And back we go. Now, again, knees together, feet flexed, or this time I think it's left over right. Is that correct? Okay, so if you are crossing your thighs, cross left over right, and you can certainly use your arms to hold the legs in close to your chest, and that can relieve sometimes the extra load on your low back. If you don't really like using the block, simply interlace your hands or hold the backs of your legs, and instead of pushing the block into your left thigh, which would be the cognate of what we did on the first side, you would pull the legs into your chest and push your legs into your interlaced hands. Okay, so that can be easier on the back. If you're okay to put your landscape directed block flat on your left thigh, hug your elbows into your chest to broaden and open the collarbone, push your block as you squeeze your inner thighs so tightly together that no light can get between the thigh bones. Yeah, Carol, good. That's a nice, is that better on your back, Carol? Looks good. Yeah, yep. That's it, Terry, exactly. Can you create resistance in both directions? Yes, Shelley, how's that feeling? Too much, yep. So the pull feels better? Oh, but that's okay. That's okay. I'd much rather have you work gently. Yep, try the other side. Flex those feet for me, Linda. Yes, exactly. That's it, Robin. Good. Beautiful, Anne. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. One more breath, slight tuck of your chin, everybody. Yep, that's it, Lisa. Good, Elisa, and then release and down you come. Ah, knees into the chest this time, 2 separate knee circles, round and round you go. Massaging out your back. All right, now slowly I roll to the side and keeping my spine long, I use my arms to help myself sit up and place my block on the mat at the foot of my mat in landscape mode again. For this last version of bridge, I will not be using a blanket, but again, you can use a blanket under your head if you wish. This position here, if you're not moving your legs this way, for some people, external rotation, not so good. You simply place your block between your thighs, preferably wide, like so. And we'll be doing the bridge here. Yeah, sorry for bad news. Bridge being such a good one for engaging the whole lower body and starting to create some action in the inner thigh, inner groin. If you're okay with the knees opened up like butterfly wings, the idea is this. Your soles of your feet together on the block, the arms reaching down and gripping the sticky mat. For some, the hands pulling on a mat would not feel good. So please feel free to just flatten your palms again and again, focus on the fingerprints, every single one of them, all 10 pressing into the mat. If you can, without discomfort, grip and pull the mat, that can help you activate all the way up from your hands through the arms into the shoulder and upper thoracic muscles, and that's what we want. As you pull your mat from right to left, flatten out your back. Now you might stay here. This actually is quite good for elongating the spine. You press the outer edges of your feet down into the block. You might feel your inner thighs kick in, squeezing the soles of the feet together, flattening your back. If you wish to endeavor to lift your hips up, you can move into this admittedly rather odd version of bridge pose, where the pubic bone leads the pelvis upward any amount off the mat, squeezing the buttocks in this way. Yes, and then you slowly lower down, going at your own comfortable pace. And if you discover there's something unsavory about this at any point, you simply bring your knees into your chest and rock side to side and take the version that has just the block between the knees. Yes, very good. Couple more of these, breathing, lifting and lowering. That's it, Lisa. Yep. Yep, there you go. Very good. Shelley, nice. So not taking a break, taking the block between the thighs if you need to. Robin, excellent. One more time in the lift, only if it works for you. And if you wish, you can add the hula hoops. Now that might sound like crazy stuff. So the hula hoop action is where when your hips are lifted, come on down and rest, take a break if you're finding the hula hoop is bridged too far. But if you wish, you can circle your pelvis around first one direction and then the other. But this is an add-on only if you're finding yourself floating up there going la-di-da, and you want to add a little more intensity. When you think, oh, enough already, then you slowly come all the way back down, gently fold your knees together, pull your knees into your chest and rock side to side. All right, very good. Very good. Okay. So now where I'd like to go from here is into a Supta Padangusthasana, sort of a position of Supta Padangusthasana, which means I have the block between my feet. Now, for some, one folded blanket, the strudel fold, as I like to call it, may be helpful to you, which means that if you do take it, it would go underneath your sacrum, or your bolster could be parlayed into support here, or even a block, or perhaps nothing. The idea is, if it's workable, to put a block between your feet. The orientation of your block could be the narrow width, the wide width, the middle width, but the placement of your block is not between the toes as it is between the ankle bones. The knees can be as bent as they need to be, and the arms can cactus wide or perhaps move down at an angle. Check to see what your shoulders feel most comfortable with and which arm position gives you a feeling of leverage. Even next to the elbows can hug in next to the ribs for some people. That's actually really helpful. You elbow the floor right next to you as a way to activate the pectorals, the chest, the back, etc. Now, if your knees can be straight, lovely. If your knees need to be bent, that's totally fine. And then we slowly move your legs any amount from right to left. Now, from right to left, when I go right to left, I tend to like to widen my arms. When my legs are going front to back, I tend to pull them into the body. So take a moment to see where your arms feel best and only tilt to the side to the degree that you feel very well controlled. This is not meant to be an extreme maneuver. For some people, even though it's not meant to be an extreme maneuver, for some bodies, bringing the legs way over is within the range of controlled movement and doesn't overtax. For others, you might meet a point where you clearly met the end of your range of comfort. You want to stay well shy of that. We don't go to the end where you start to feel vulnerable. We stay within the range where you feel strong and supported. So Tara Parivartanasana is actually a pose that's driven from the belly. So as your legs go right, think of your belly going left. And as your legs go left, think of your belly going right. When in doubt, bend your knees more and let the legs go less far to the right and left. Squeeze the block more. You can always pop it between the knees or thighs instead of between the feet. Breathing into it. Yeah, taking a break before you feel exhausted. Nice work. Can you spread your toes? Moving with the breath. Very good. Gorgeous. Couple more. Stopping when you need to. Yeah, very good. Beautiful. That's it, Carol. Yeah, and the block always falls. It almost always falls. No problem if it does. You can either put it back or simply rock side to side without it. And then meet me back in the center. Bend those knees and gently massage your back. If you wish, drop your block and make a circle and let the surface below you do the work. So if your knees are circling on a blanket, let the blanket do the work as it mushes up into your back or the mat. and switch the circle direction. This is meant to be a comfortable massaging action for your spine, not supposed to be stressful. So please feel free to modulate or modify, simply resting if you feel like, oh, enough already. Okay, now finally, bring the knees into the chest, not using the block yet. Can you keep your head grounded, draw your belly button in, and slowly move your left toes forward and down to tap? Then bring your knee back in and bring your right toes forward and down to tap. This is an exercise in squeezing the buttock muscles of the leg where the toes are tapping. Yeah, the leg of which the toes are tapping. Yeah, so you squeeze the glutes. Now, if it's super easy for you, you can extend the leg further, even into sort of a bicycle maneuver, though the legs might not straighten all the way. The more you keep your legs hovering above your pelvis in a bicycle, the less load on your low back. And therefore, for many people, you're more able to focus on the abdominal muscles, engaging and keeping your pelvis absolutely quiet and not overwork. If you're comfortable backing up, go backwards on your bicycle, reverse the movement. Again, the circle can be very small, it can be right above your pelvis, so that the load on your back is decreased. Yeah. Make it as if through molasses. Make it slow and engage as you do. Keeping your back flat, flat, flat. Try not to move your pelvis at all. All right. Very good. And now release your feet flat, bend your knees, and out you come. All right. Very good. Now let's turn over onto the side body. For this, a blanket can be super helpful. In fact, I'll take 2 blankets. For some, even 3, because of the shape of the bone on the outside of your upper thigh that can dig in super uncomfortably, exquisitely uncomfortably into the floor. Bolster under your left ear. Align yourself so that your left ear is on the floor and you're facing in towards the computer. Left ear is on the floor and you're facing in towards the computer, just so you can still see me. And then if you're okay with a block, bring the block between the thighs. The left arm is the one that's on the floor and stretches straight out. And the head rests on either a bolster, your arm, a block, usually some height so that the left shoulder is not stressed. The outer edge of your left baby toe and the outer edge of your foot is on the mat. You may find that there are certain places on the left side of the body that don't touch the floor. That's okay. But can you dig in with your outer edge of your left foot and put your right hand on your hip and stack your right hip over your left? Squeeze your block. Now from here, if you wish, the arm action can be to go straight up to the sky. Then sweep your right arm any amount towards your right ear, maybe even bringing the right armpit or bicep towards your ear. Then slowly take it behind you, opening up the arm as far to the wall behind you as possible, palm still facing forward. Then rotate the back of your hand all the way in to face your lumbar spine and press the back of your hand into your low back. Then push your right hand straight back behind you. Rotate the palm 360 degrees and come all the way back over your right ear. We'll do this all again. Backstroke your right arm any amount behind you. Then turn the thumb paddles forward all the way around until your palm faces the wall behind you. Bring the back of your hand to your low back. Push backwards directly and rotate your palm all the way back around and bring your right arm over your ear again. Any modifications to this that you need to make are always welcome. You can bend the elbow. You can take a different path for the arm. Breathing into this as you squeeze your block. Now, if it's too easy for you, lift and float your legs. You do not need to lift the legs, though. Just squeezing your block can be all you need to do. That arm goes behind, and then the back of the hand comes to the low back. Then it pushes open and rotates. Gorgeous. That's it, Katie. Yes, exactly. Carol, good. Yes, Terry, that's it. That's it, Sarah. Bring those feet a little further behind you, just a teeny bit. That's all you needed. That's it, Katie. Flex those feet for me. Yes, Terry, good. Trying to straighten those knees best you can, Terry. Yes, it's hard to balance. Carol, good. Exactly. That's it. Sherry, excellent. Straightening those knees, Sherry, for me. Yes. Gorgeous, Michael. Flexing those feet a little bit more. Yep. Beautiful. Yes. Robin, beautiful. That's it, Linda. Good. Maybe two more. That's it, Sherry. Not overworking, Shelly. Okay. Yeah. There you go, Lisa. Good. Flexing those feet. Yeah, exactly. Gorgeous. Yep, beautiful. Yeah, yeah, this is lovely. That's it, Eliza. Good. Bringing that right hip up and over toward the partition just a little bit more. Yes, okay. And slowly bend those knees, release your arm. This is not a fetal position, but the knees are bent and the legs are curled in. And then from here, slowly roll yourself to the right. Slide your left arm to the left and roll like an omelet in a pan to the right, opening the chest. Now, the arm might stay curled around your rib cage, or you might grab onto your right thigh with your left hand, pinning the knees down, and extend your right arm looking right, breathing, opening that right side of the chest. So this is a twist. Yeah, exactly. Twisting to the right any amount. Now, if the shoulder bothers you, that's it, Lisa. So the knees bend in front. There you go. And you can even go, that's it. Now, because of the shoulder, we won't necessarily open the arm, but if you wish, you can reach your arm all the way out. I think I said to the right, but oh, I see you guys are on your right ear. That's why. No wonder. Did you turn over? Oh, I see. Okay, no problem. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. We're good. Yeah, my imagery was getting in the way here. Yeah, reaching that arm out. Yeah, excellent. One more deep breath. And slowly come on back to the center. We'll start on side B now. So where you already are, if you're on your right shoulder, you're perfect. You're ready to go. Straighten out those legs, kick through, and see if you can stack your body up onto your right hip, bringing your left hand onto your left hip. Right arm stretches out in front of you. Yes, exactly. Relax your jaw, squeeze your buttocks, flex your feet. I have to be careful about referencing omelets because it's ambiguous. How do omelets go? It's not clear. Everybody's omelet is different. So I need to be a little more clear in my omelet language. Flex your feet. Now squeeze your buttocks. Now squeeze your block. Try to make your block disappear. Squish. Now, navel to spine and get long through your spine. So you're absolutely ramrod straight. Notice if you're tending to bring your feet and legs a little bit in front of you, which is quite normal. The hip flexors want to take over. Engage your buttocks to balance out your hip flexors and stretch your left arm up to the sky. Then slowly turn your left palm to face towards the crown of your head and reach your left arm any amount next to your left ear. It need not come close. Might need space for the shoulder. Then backstroke your left arm any amount behind you. It might go straight up to the sky or maybe behind you. Rotate your arm all the way around in the socket to bring the back of your left palm into your low back. Then push your left palm straight back behind you and rotate to bring that arm up and over the ear. Breathing. Once again, arm back strokes behind you. Stretch for the pectorals on that left side, bringing the back of your hand slowly to your low back. Push straight back and rotate, opening up that armpit chest and bringing that arm over your left ear again. Exactly, Linda, good. Maybe once or twice more, but now if you wish, you can lift your legs up. If it wasn't enough already for you to be doing this with your legs long and straight, squeezing your block, you can also lift your legs vertically to the ceiling, engaging that left side body. Notice if your head and neck feel uncomfortable, drop your head. There's no problem with that. You do not need to lift your legs. Squeeze your buttocks. Try to straighten your knees. There's no weight bearing here. So this is a great opportunity for you to build strength in your quadricep muscles evenly, pulling your kneecaps up into your thighs. One more time, if you're feeling like it's all la-di-da, come and rest as soon as you need to, and then bend your knees and pull your knees forward in front of your body. Now, if you're lying on your right side and you already twisted this way, opening your chest to the left, this is your opportunity to slowly turn over back onto your left side. If you did the twist on the other side, and this one is new, gently open up your chest to the ceiling. Your knees are bent in front of you. Your chest is facing to the right. You're on your right side, and you can twist open to the left. So either you've done this one before or you haven't. So take your time to switch over to the other side if you would like to, and if you haven't done it already. If you're not sure, you might already have done it. Don't worry, you can always do both sides again and we'll even ourselves out, never a problem. Nice, Carol, that's beautiful. So the right hand gently hugging the left knee down to create that space in the outer left hip, and then the stretching of the left arm out might even come with a turn of your chin from left shoulder to right. Breathing. Yeah, that's it, Shelley. This is perfect. Yep. So you'd be in that position with the knees there, and then you could gently twist open to the right, maybe arm down, pulling on the right thigh with your left hand a little bit to stretch out that outer hip. That's it. Yes, exactly, Linda. So the knees could come just a teeny bit for, there. Do you feel that? So the weight of the legs helps you get a little bit more stretch. This hand hugging down this way, and turn the left palm up for me. Yeah, do you feel that a little bit more? So we end up with a little bit more length in there. Good, beautiful. Very good. You okay here? Gentle stretch of this hip moving this way. Yeah. You okay? Big breath into your right lung. Let it go. Big breath into the right lung. Let it go. That's it. Very good. Yeah, beautiful. All right, now super gently roll back onto the back side of your body. Hug the knees into the chest. Center yourself because we get very crooked, and gently bring your knees into your chest. Okay. All right, here we go. Onto the front body. So we'll be putting anything you need under your feet, So for me, when I lie on my front body, I like to put a folded blanket under the tops of my feet so that I don't feel I've got cramping in the arches or discomfort in the toe joints. Sometimes that happens. Now, this is going to be an irksome suggestion for some, and for others, you'll be fine with it. You won't care. Block between the thighs. The next time we do this, we'll be taking a strap and making a loop. So let's make our loop quick now, and then we'll be able to swap out block for strap more readily. So we'll be making a loop in your strap that allows you, and it's not that easy. If forward folding or sitting like that is hard, you may be lassoing your feet when your feet are up like this. Put one foot in, the other foot in. That can make it easier to get the strap around your foot, particularly if you're dealing with a little bit of, for example, issues in your hip joints. So one leg in, make the strap about hip distance apart. That's how we want our feet to be able to be. Now, for some, it's easy to just sit and do this. For others, not so much. So take a moment to see how you can create a loop into which you can insert your feet so that the strap is around your insteps. Okay? And then, irritatingly enough, we'll take it off and put it to the side. Yep, we'll be going on our front body. Exactly. You've got yourself set up perfectly. And what we'll do, if you are not averse, this one can get a little odd, is to put the block between the thighs and rest on the front body like this. Now, the irritating part is that the block tends to slide down a little bit, and we'd like it to be pretty close to the tops of the thighs. If you give this a whirl and you discover absolutely not, then you take it away. Okay, the idea is that your legs and feet are either block distance apart where you're squeezing the block in its narrowest alignment, or your legs and feet are about hip distance apart and you don't have a block. Okay, so either one. So let's meet here in this prone Shavasana position. I think if I call it Shavasana, you might be more encouraged, especially at first, before it transforms into something other than Shavasana. So the palms are stacked one on top of the other. Notice which hand is on top, and then switch it. Most of the time we lie down with the same hand on top, so we'll switch it right away. Now, as you press the tops of your feet down into either the blanket or the mat, squeeze your buttock muscles, tuck your tailbone, and if you have the block,
between the upper thighs, you may find it's a little trickier to make contact between the pubic bone and the floor. Not to worry, that's okay, but still press the pubic bone down, tuck the tailbone. If it's feasible for you to slowly float your feet any amount off the blanket and then back down, that's all we're doing here. It's such a small movement, and it's predicated on pubic bone pressing down, block being squeezed, navel being lifted, and if you're not using a block, squeezing the buttocks, lifting and lowering the feet, any amount. And if you're not using a block, you might do one leg at a time instead of both. For many people without the block, it's actually easier and more comfortable to do one leg at a time. So lifting and lowering. Breathing in. 2 more times, lift and lower. Feel the entire lower body from low ribs down to toe tips engaging and the upper body relaxing. Bend your knees as soon as you're ready to rest and softly windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Take a deep breath to fill the belly. All right, now here we go. Legs back down, repeating that, or stretching your arms out into a cactus shape, elbows bent at any angle. So depending on your shoulder, your elbows might be straight out from the shoulder joint like a T, or maybe hugged in closer to your ribs, or even up and over your head in a diamond. So take a moment to see where your arms are most comfortable. And as you press your pubic bone down, press and squeeze your block or squeeze your buttocks if there's no block. Just float your head in a neutral neck. And then draw your shoulder blades away from your ears and see if you can lift the elbows any amount. Hands and elbows lift at the same time. If you can, now we'll lift our feet. Good question. So the legs just barely lift, the head is barely lifted, the elbows and arms are lifted, and here you are. Now, either you pull your elbows into your ribs and hug them down, and then stretch them forward in a V, and hug and pull, and reach to a V, or you go hug and pull and stay. You don't need the arms to reach out. For some, that's too much load on the back. Squeeze the block, breathe, 2 more elbows to the ribs, squeeze, and 1 more elbows to the ribs, and down you come and rest. Bend those knees and circle your shins. Circle the other way. Flex your feet. Yeah, that's it, Jill. Good. Yeah, Carol, beautiful. Nice. Now slowly roll to the side using your arms to help you. Bend your knees and use a straight spine to slowly sit up so that we can swap out the block for the strap. I encourage you to do the minimalist version of these poses or these positions rather than shove yourself towards maximum. And if you're feeling stronger and you feel like, yeah, I want to go further, great. But assume first the gentlest version and then only tick up if you feel like you have extra energy. So the strap, and then once again, in order to get the strap on, again, I know for some, there's a little bit of an issue with the hip. You could put one foot in when you're lying down, stretch the leg up, then put the other foot in, and voila, you've got your feet in. Now, here's the idea, tricky maneuver, is to get yourself onto your back, onto your front body with your strap here around your feet. Oi, how's that gonna work? If you find it's tricky, I'm gonna come around and help you. So if you're on your front body and you're doing this work and you can't get the strap there, don't worry, I'll be around to help. Arms down to the side of the body this time. Pubic bone presses. And all we do as we squeeze the buttocks is push the feet sideways into the strap without lifting them. And then relax. Then press the pubic bone down, squeeze the buttocks, push out into the strap, feel the outer hip and outer thigh, and come back down. We'll do 2 more like that. So let's meet there. Take your time. We'll do a total of 4 of those at your own pace or more if you're happy and enjoying yourself. Yes. Yeah, beautiful. Exactly. So long spine. Yeah. How's that feeling? That's it, Julia. Good. Upper body is just resting here, not doing anything per se.
just hover, not even lifting your head. And your legs are straight and long, and you're going to push out right to left into your strap. That's it. And press your pubic bone down. No, it's pretty good. In fact, I'll make it a teeny bit smaller for you, Shelley. Yeah, there you go. Does that feel better? Yeah. Now breathe and come down, take a break, relax. And we'll repeat this. Now reach your arms back to the sides of the body. Tuck your chin and rest your forehead. Press your pubic bone down, squeeze your buttocks. Now press out into your strap. And as you reach your arms all the way down, fingertips touch the thighs, lift your shoulder blades together, lift your shoulder heads and float your head. Now float your feet any amount. Straightening your knees, push out into your strap. Beautiful, Lisa, that's it. Now you can come up any amount, but you do not need to. This is not necessarily an upper back bend. Beautiful, Michael. And then once again, if you wish, you can bend your elbows, hug them to your ribs, and reach forward into the V or Y shape, and then pull your elbows back into your side ribs, and then reach to the V or Y. It's much harder to reach, and it can be easier not to, so please feel free to keep your arms right next to your body. Come down and rest when you need to. That's it. Beautiful, Linda. Yep, and you don't even need to lift your chin. You can keep your chin and neck neutral. Beautiful. Pubic bone pressing. Exactly, right? So you really maintain that lumbar flattening action. You come down and rest before you feel fatigue. Gorgeous, Robin. That's it. Really nice action through that core. Yeah, Michael, good. Pushing out into your strap. Engaging the outer hip, outer thigh. Breathing. Modulating as you need to. Maybe you come down and rest. Yeah, exactly. Straightening those knees. That's it. It's not easy to keep the tailbone tucking in the context of the upper body lifting. Feeling it in that left hip more than the right. Yeah, so take a break. And what I would do actually is take this away and work without that so that that feel a little bit better? Yeah, that lateral, because that's obviously a little bit overactive right now. So let's keep it more even. Pubic bone pressing variation, more of a vertical lift, not necessarily so much lateral. Yeah, does that feel better, Carol? Yeah, yep, that could be simply fatigue. And so and if it doesn't feel extremely uncomfortable and it goes away the minute you stop, that suggests fatigue rather than real inflammation or other kind of thing going on. Excellent, Katie, good. How many more of these can your body do? You only do the number that works for you. It might be 0. Thank you very much. Breathing. And then we'll breathe and relax and take a break. Gorgeous, Terry. Very good. Yes.
And I have a question.
Yes, Debbie. Yep.
Can you do this with keeping your toes on the floor when you stretch out into the strap?
Yes, great question. So can you do this same thing with your toes still on the floor? Yes, so you can push your feet into the strap. Feel free if you'd like to give this a try. Simply with your legs grounded, you could either have your toes tucked and toes on the floor, heels lifted, or you could have your feet more flat and simply keep your legs grounded, pubic bone pressing. You need not lift anything because this lateral pressure is already a lot. You may feel it all the way up and down the outer legs.
Yeah, it feels very good if your toes are really tucked on the floor.
Nice, yeah.
Like
so
that. Is that okay?
Absolutely, toes tucked on the floor. For anyone here or in the computer ether, the toes tucked and heels lifted thing can feel great.
Right. Thank you.
The toes flat. Yeah, great, Debbie. Good question. Now, finding your way to child's pose, I like to do that super slowly because for some, it's comfy to just push up through hands and knees and sink back luxuriantly into child's pose. For others, a careful roll over onto your back and a hugging of the knees into the chest may feel like a greater release for your back than child's pose. For others, the gentle rounding of child's pose is a nice counter stretch to all of that shalabhasana work. Whose idea is all that shalabhasana work? Well, guess what? Yoga for osteoporosis has a lot of that kind of work in it because that kind of strength building along the spine in the context of that shape of the spine can be super healthy
for your bones. So breathing into your back body, whether you're in child's pose proper or upside down child's pose, what I'd like to suggest is that you send your breath into your back lungs. And then as you exhale, squeeze your belly button deep to push out the air. So it's a posterior breath inhale, an anterior breath exhale. Feel your belly squish in and up like an anemone that's gotten poked as you exhale. So you spread wide, inhale, manta ray, and then anemone. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 2 more times. Big, wide back body. And squeeze in. Don't underestimate the power of abdominal strengthening from exhalation. 1 more time at your own pace. All right, and out you come. Now, hands in knees position. If you have something that you can put your foot into, I will be so happy, because closed kinetic chain, so-called closed kinetic chain movements, where your foot, your hand, your body pushes something felt, is completely different than your leg in free space. So I'd like to start with the closed kinetic chain movement. So here's me on my knees on a blanket. I'm either on my forearms or my hands, and my foot is going against the wall. So I'm coming over here by these blankets. It's a bit of a mess over here, I'm just not gonna lie, but there it is. Palms are under my shoulders, or I'm on my forearms with or without blocks. The question is, where does your left knee need to sit on a blanket so that you can put your right foot on the wall comfortably at about hip height, with your right toes and your right knee pointing straight down. The thing I like about being on my forearms, for those of you who choose to be in that position, is that I can dig in with my elbows. That's it, Lisa, you got it. If you choose to be on your palms, that's great. Just see if you can bend your elbows slightly so that you can hug your shoulder blades against your spine and push the mat forward and downward. For some of us, it feels a little easier on the back to be on the forearms, because the spine is therefore slightly slanted downward, and there's a little less tendency to overarch the back. Push your right foot into the wall, spread your toes, and remember the little toe blobs. Feel all 5 of your little toe pads and straighten your right knee. Now, if your left hand is comfortable, gently spider walking forward, you can balance a little bit by bringing your left hand out in front, but not lifting it off the mat. Finally, if you wish, you can float your left hand even a little bit, especially if you're on your forearm, it doesn't come very high. If you're on your palm, it might come more to shoulder height. I'm much more interested in how even your shoulders are. Yes, Linda, that was a great correction. Drop that armpit, outer armpit down, Michael, just a little bit more, wrapping the armpit to the floor. Good. So the palm faces the midline. Sherry, good. Scoop the belly in and up. Shelly, good. That's it. Yep. Wall action. Very good. Yeah. Try not to drop your head. Julia, nice straight right knee. Beautiful, Eliza. A little less curve in your lumbar. Drop that right hip and wrap the right hip point down and around to the floor. Right hip point wraps down and around. Beautiful, Anne. A little more length through your sternum, Anne. Gorgeous. Nice, Sarah. That's it. Yes, Terry. Good, Katie. Straighten that knee, and then slow motion switch sides when your body's ready. How long can we stay on one side? Oi. Switch it up. Take your time, rest in between. That's it, Sarah. Very even hips. Good. Notice your low back, how tempting it is to cave into the low back and let it curve down like a hammock. Can you elongate through the spine? Beautiful, strong body, Lisa. Very good, Shelly. Scoop the belly in and up. How much can you push your foot into the wall? Your foot just going to go straight into Dunkin' Donuts. They're going to be so shocked. Breathing. That's it. That's it, Sherry. Good. A little bit less tuck of your chin, Sherry. Yeah. Carol, good. Very good. That's it, Katie. Squeeze, squeeze the navel. Nice alignment. Gorgeous. Terry, excellent. Press the wall. Gorgeous, Sarah. Nice, Michael. That's it. You got the wrap of the armpit chest. Beautiful, Robin. Take your time. Yes, Shelly. Very nice length in your spine. Gorgeous. When you've done both sides, come all the way down. Child's pose, puppy pose, your favorite resting pose. Oh my goodness. Whose idea was all of this? All right, hands and knees position. Now, if you happen to be a person working on their forearms today, this is a great opportunity for you to pop your blocks under, because what I'd like to do is one thing with the leg, which involves having a little more height underneath your chest. The knees are together, the feet are together. If you're on your palms, lovely, no problem at all. There you are, voila, tabletop, slight bend in your elbows, neck is long. If you're on your forearms, also lovely. Same thing, collarbone broad, neck is long. Now, slowly, if your left knee can come in towards your chest, great. Don't worry if it doesn't come in very far. Then we'll slowly kick that leg back again, but this time not to touch the wall. So if you're close to the wall, take a few moments to scooch out. Would have been helpful if I'd told you that before, wouldn't it? Scooch out a little bit. So now we're doing the open kinetic chain variation. Gently bring that left knee back, squeeze the buttock, kick through the heel, lengthen, and down you come. Second side, we'll do 4 total, 2 on each side. This time as if the wall were there, but we don't touch it. Just the legs. Great question. So the elbows being a little wider on the blocks, turning the blocks a little bit more into a wider triangle, digging in with your elbows, stabilizing your shoulder girdle, squeeze your right buttock as you lift your left leg back. Hug your right hip in towards the midline assiduously. There you go. Do you feel any difference there, Lisa? And then you repeat on the other side. So you try to stay absolutely parallel as you bring one leg back and then the other. There is a natural shift of the hips, but we try to obviate it by hugging the supporting leg hip to the midline. And once you've done 2 each side, take a break. You can either just sit back on your heels, you can swish your hips side to side, or you can have a seat, take child's pose. Okay, so where we're going is next, finally, to this one. Pubic bone pressing, elbows wide, either on your hands, collarbone broad, or on your forearms. We slowly kick the left leg back, bend the left knee, and push the foot to the sky. Push up. Now, this is too easy for you, going straight up with your foot. Oftentimes we end up here, the foot going back and the leg going back like a donkey. Instead, we want to go straight up, straight up. If that's too easy for you, reach your right arm up and out at the same time. So the arm goes straight out like a letter T. I'll show it on the other side so you see it more easily. So you slowly kick the foot to the ceiling, you reach the arm up. And finally, for those who wish, you can grab your foot, balance, and open up the chest there in the band. Yes. No need to bind. So we do the left foot and then the right. Option to bring the opposite arm up and out to the side like an airplane, and maybe grab the foot. Beautiful, Lisa, that's it. Try to lift up, up, up out of the hand and the knee. The lovely thing about this is that you need only do the donkey kick, keeping the spine as long and straight as before, trying not to dump into your low back. You can do 2 or 3 on each side. You can take a break in between. If you want, it's the opposite arm, slowly opening up like a bird wing, up towards the sky as the shoulder blades squeeze together, the foot rises. Maybe you pause, maybe you grab the foot. Grabbing the foot is more of a red herring type of situation. I'd much rather see you work the arm and leg free version. There you go. That's all right. Good. That's why we have blanketing. That's it, Linda. Yeah, gazing at a fixed focal point. Beautiful, Katie. Gorgeous. Rotate that toe and knee, Carol, a little more, less external rotation in your right leg. There you go. Nice work. Yeah, nice, Michael. All right. When you've done 6 gazillion, take a break. Good, Julia. Beautiful. Nice work. All right. And out you come. Now, Adho Mukha Svanasana, for some of us, downward dog is a pose where we super gently come on up to stand. We walk over to our favorite wall, place the palms at about shoulders distance, bending the elbows, and then pushing the wall, even an equal placement of hands, equidistant from the floor, bending those knees, we lengthen the trunk. So this is all about elongation through the side body, neutral neck, even spread of fingers, and again, even spread of toes. All little toe pads dig in, all little fingerprints press the wall. Scoop the belly and draw back into your downward dog. If you're a person who can do it and likes to do it on the floor, here's me in my Ardha Mukha Svanasana on the mat. My feet and legs, my legs are about hips distance, but my hands are about mat distance. As you come into your downward dog, keep your elbows a little bent at first and allow yourself to move into long spine, but the knees not yet straight, and then walk your dog. So take your time, whichever version of downward dog you choose. You do not need to walk the dog if you find you prefer to keep your feet even. If you're dealing with Achilles tendon issues, it can be super therapeutic to lift and lower your heels. And indeed, if you'd like to avoid Achilles tendon issues, it can be helpful to contract the muscles in the calves and shorten the tendons by lifting your heels, then lengthen the muscles in the tendons by reaching your heels backwards. Sometimes the heels touch the floor, sometimes they do not. Don't force them. Sherry, beautiful. That's it. Yeah, Shelly, lift your chest, lift your head a little bit for me, and draw back with your hips and scoop your belly in and up just a little bit more. Nice. Yes, Linda, nice long spine. Check your left hand. See that it's symmetrical with your right. Nice work. Make sure the knees are unlocked if you're doing downward dog at the wall. Make sure your knees are unlocked if you're doing downward dog on the floor. Big breath into the low back. Beautiful, Terry. Yep. Katie, excellent. Yeah, nice, Michael. And try bending and straightening your elbows a little bit and see what happens to your shoulders. That's it, Robin. So oftentimes we say, oh, straighten the elbows. But what if we don't straighten them? We bend them and straighten them and find a little more space in the shoulder joints. Take a break and we'll come on out. Slowly tiptoe your feet towards your hands or come down and rest. And then we'll meet up in a standing pose. All right. Now, the strap, this one is very, very useful. The strap needs to become a smaller loop. And when you hold the loop part of your strap in your right hand, take the long end of your strap in your left hand, we want the buckle to be on top, facing the ceiling. Okay, so if you're like this and you see that the bottom side of your buckle is the buckle faces the floor, turn it upright. Yes, we want the buckle facing up. Now, with that strap in your right hand, long tail in your left, you put the loop around your right leg, low to the knee, right above the knee, about an inch or 2 inches above your knee. And we cinch it up tight, right where the inseam of your yoga pants would be. So the buckle is right where the middle of the inseam is on your right leg. Yeah, precisely, that's it. Then take the strap between your legs and over your shoulder. Doesn't matter if it's right or left. So eventually we look like this. We have a strap going behind you, up and over your shoulder. Nice. Excellent. Ah, voila. Yeah, you got it, Anne. Perfect. So for warrior one, the left foot will be forward. If you're a person for whom putting the back heel down in warrior one does not feel good, not a problem, because you can simply take your bundle of blankets here. Doesn't this look a lot like pollen, like bee? Yeah, anyway, your right foot could be on, this is perfect. It's so comfy. So if your back foot doesn't feel comfortable like this, you may find that some support, oh, my nervous system goes, boom, when I do that. It's like, doesn't hurt. It's supported. I'm stable. Not a bad thing. If you don't need it, you hoik it away. Feet, instead of being on railroad tracks, are as if on, instead of being on a balance beam with Simone Biles, that sounds exciting, off to the sides. Yeah, so your feet are wide apart. The left knee bends. The strap is over the shoulder. The hips are slightly rotating to your right. If you place your hands on your hips, notice that slight turn to the right and let it stay as it is. But bend into your left knee and point your left knee right over your left toes. Then take your shoulders and rotate your shoulders and your chest any amount to the left. For me, I lift my heel and scoot it backwards a little bit more to shorten the angle, to tighten the angle of my right foot. Feels like I can square my shoulders more easily. Then I hold the strap and rest it against the back of my head, right where my mohawk would be. I pull my elbows together, drop my shoulders gazing down, and sink into the left heel. Lifting my head up into the strap, I push the strap upwards and backwards and try to engage my right buttock muscle by pulling backwards with my right foot. If you want more intensity, sink into your left heel more, go deeper with your left thigh. And finally, if you wish, you can pull your strap up to the sky, but drop the shoulders and bring the elbows in front of you. Finally, if you wish, you can open up the chest, pull your strap behind you, and lift your gaze, creating your Virabhadrasana 1 with the vertical action. Wow, these are beautiful. Take a breath, stomp your front heel, squeeze your back buttock, straighten your back knee any amount, and when your body is ready to come up to come out, straightening your front leg, turn to your right, and toe heel, your feet and legs together. Wow, those were beautiful. Take a break. Did you feel strong? You looked strong. No, you didn't feel strong? Well, you were faking it nicely. Yeah, so don't worry if you don't feel strong. The next pose may be the one where you do. And if it's not strong today, it might be strong tomorrow. Take your strap off, flip it over. So now when you're holding the loop in your left hand, the long tail of the strap is in your right hand, and you want the top of the buckle, it usually has this little nice mandala on it, faces the ceiling. That strap goes around your left thigh and cinches up to the inseam of your left thigh. So it's right here. That's it. And the buckle tightens so that it's not going to slip and slide as you pull on it, but you don't want to have purple toes. So let's make sure it's not too tight. That's correct. Yeah, you just need to flip it over, Shelley. I could see your brain going, it needs to be flipped. Yeah. Then the strap, beautiful. That's it, Julia, exactly, goes behind you. Bring it a little lower for me, Aliza, a little closer to your left knee, if you don't mind. There you go. Then you get the leverage on the thigh rotation that we're looking for. Yeah, a little lower, Carol, down towards the knee. Yep, there you go. Even another 2 inches down and cinch it up nice and tight. So it gets a chokehold on your thigh. Gives it a little more stability for you. Yeah. Yeah, people are super individual about that. So please check it out. For some, opposite's going to be way better. For some, same is going to feel good. All options are available to you. Bring your right foot forward and bend your right knee, and see that you create a vertical right shin. Step your left foot back, and here's that opportunity to put that cozy blanket under there, or rolled up sticky mat or other prop. And then again, check your feet are wider apart left to right than you think you need them to be. That creates a little more stability, which is really kind of nice to work with. Now, hands on hips, take a moment to check. Wow, when I bring my left leg back, that naturally opens the left hip a little bit. That's actually what we want. Peek at your left toes and see that they're slightly turned out, unless that bothers your hip, knee, or ankle or hip, in which case you turn your toes straight forward. Okay. All right. So Virabhadrasana 1 is a pose where the heel is down, the toes are slightly externally rotated. Now keep your hips, let them be where they will be, but put your right knee over your toes, turn your shoulders to parallel the short edge of your mat, and bring your strap to the back of your head, bending your elbows and dropping your shoulders down your back. Push your head up and back into your strap, like you're one of the swans on the pond in the public garden. Yeah, push the back of your head up and back. Pull the sticky mat back into the left with your left foot. Now, if you wish, as you draw your navel in and lift your ribs up out of your hips, you can pull your strap straight up behind you above your left thigh. You can even lift your gaze and look up. Lift your ribs out of your hips, especially your low back ribs. They lift up and forward. This is Ustrasana, camel pose in your upper body. Wow, these are beautiful. Press into your right heel, length through your spine, lift your chest more, Swing your elbows forward and drop your shoulder blades down. Yes, very good. Good. Straighten your right knee, turn to the left, toe heel, toe heel, toe heel, and breathe. Wow, excellent. So that was your balancing pose for the day. It was a balance, right? Okay, all right. So what we'll be doing is a lunge hamstring combo. I often use a block for this. You could certainly use blankets, a bolster. Here's the idea. For some people, this pose will be comfortably done with the back knee grounded, the 2 blocks inside of your front leg, and a gentle pressure of your fingertips onto the blocks. For others, it'll be better to put a block high, one stacked upon the other, and not put the back knee down. So I'll show it to the other side. Lots of ways to do this. What we're looking for is first a lunge position where we're stretching out the front of the hip of the back leg. Then we slowly straighten the front leg, lifting the spine, maybe even flexing the toes, of the front foot. Notice my chest doesn't need to go lower in order to stretch the hamstring, though if you're craving a big intense stretch, you can drape down and come back into the lunge. Now, for some, the back knee needs to stay lifted because it doesn't feel comfortable to have the back knee grounded, in which case you might come into this high lunge variation where you keep the pubic bone pressing and you try to lengthen through the front of the hip with the back knee lifted. And then you still keep the back knee lifted as you fold forward over the flexed or not flexed front leg. So you may be on your right leg, you may be on your left. Please feel free, if you do have the comfort in the back leg, to put the back knee down. For some, that gives you more points of contact and therefore more information and more stability. But for others, it just doesn't feel right and isn't workable. So as you go from front to back, can you maintain a downward pressure on the part of your front heel and a felt sense of continually lifting your body up out of your legs, as if I'm about to lift up and run across the room, rather than hanging in the joints. I'm pushing constantly down into the mat with my toes and with my heels. So whichever heel is in contact with the mat pushes down. Whichever set of toes are in contact with the mat, dig in and push down. Breathing. Yeah, beautiful, Sarah. So also really nice. I love that internal external rotation. So when you're in the straight leg hamstring stretch, you can rotate the thigh from the root of the thigh internally and externally to access different hamstring fibers. Many of us have tighter outer hamstring fibers than inner. Yes, and switching whenever you are ready. I know that we're all on different legs. That's okay. Luckily, we just have 2. Breathing, taking your time, sampling the internal rotation, external rotation. And if there's a stretch that feels particularly helpful, stay a little longer. You do not need to move at speed. You can move at your chosen pace. Yeah, that's it, Lisa. Feel that in the back of that left hamstring? Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Julia, good. Feel that in that right thigh, back of hamstring there? Yeah. Eliza, beautiful alignment. You get a little bit of stretch in the front of the right hip there? Good. You can always tuck your tailbone more if you want to get even more stretch. Pulling your left heel towards the wall, towards Dunkin' Donuts, and tucking your tailbone in the opposite direction. Yeah, you feel that a little bit more, and pulling your ribs away from your hips even more too lengthens that psoas. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful and excellent. Nice, Linda. Very good. Exactly. You feel that a little differently, internal rotation versus external? Yeah, thank you, Sarah, for that. That's a really nice one. Terry, beautiful. Take your time, everyone. And don't let me rush you. When you have sampled both sides lunging and hamstring stretching, internal rotation, external rotation, then you slowly come on out.
What I'd like to go into now is Supta Padangusthasana 2. For myself, I prefer a bolster under my hips. For many people, it's more comfortable to be either on just a rolled blanket or flat on the sticky mat. You don't need to elevate your hips, but Supta Padangusthasana 2, I'd like to show, is the one that I'm going to do here, just using my loop. I'm not going to worry about making another strap shape. The idea is this. We're in Viparita Karani, the legs up the wall, knees might be bent, not a problem at all. We put the loop around your left foot. Now, if you're dealing with discomfort in the hips so that external rotation is not available to you, simply put your right foot down and we'll be working into Padangusthasana 1, which is where the leg is in front of your chest and we're working again the hamstring, pointing and flexing here. So this is for anyone for whom moving that left leg out to the left is just really not an option. If you're okay to do Supta Padangusthasana 2, you can either take hold of your loop or you can grip the strap around your foot to get a nice stable grip. Reach for your inner right ankle with your right hand inside the knee. Open the right knee to the right in Ardha Supta Baddha Konasana. Slowly scissor your left leg wide, elbow leading, maybe even elbow on the mat as you broaden. Now, in principle, the left leg moves not just out to the side, but you can bring it also near towards the crown of your head. So take a few moments to settle in to your lateral external rotation, stretch for the inner left groin. And then once again, you always have the option to have that leg moving from Supta Padangusthasana 2 to Supta Padangusthasana 1. Some people even extend that right leg long instead of having the right knee bent. The reason I keep my right knee bent and out to the right is it can help even out the pelvis and make you feel balanced from right to left across your sacrum and low back, which can be nice if you're dealing with low back sensitivity. But for others, it's a nice stretch and well worth it to stretch that right leg long down the mat in the classical version of Padangusthasana 2. Breathing into it. Yes. Take your time. Notice where you feel the stretch. See that you can breathe into your belly. And super gently, slowly, we'll meet back in the center and switch the strap to the other leg. Do the variation that works for you, including possibly reaching for your left inner ankle with your left arm inside your left knee. And opening up that right leg into Supta Padangusthasana 2 on the right. Some people like to point and flex the feet here. For others, it's nice to move in the pose a little bit. So you can move your right leg to Padangusthasana 1, extending the left leg long, and then come back, Padangusthasana 2, etc. So take license. Do what your body is craving. But can you keep both side waists equally long? Can you keep your sacrum and lumbar spine evenly balanced, right to left, in the context of whatever stretch or movements you're choosing? Notice your breathing. See if you're clenching your teeth or shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears. Beautiful. Anybody not feeling a stretch? All right, good. A few chuckles and silence is what we usually want there. A couple breaths into your belly. I'm not underestimating the value of a deep belly breath to calm the nervous system, vagus nerve stimulation. And when you feel that you're all set and balanced right to left on this side, we'll slowly bring the legs back to the center, then the knees. And now for myself, I'm going to come off of the height because I'd like to do a version of Padangusthasana 3, which for my own body feels a little better when I'm not on such height. But if you're having a good time up there and you don't want to come on down, you certainly can stay with your hips lifted, especially if it's helping your back feel better. So Padangusthasana 3, as I come into my lying down flat on my sticky mat position, feet flat, knees bent, blanket curled under my neck. Oh, it's so proximate. We are so proximate to Shavasana. It's almost heartbreaking. So
we'll be we'll be lassoing our left foot and extending your right leg long. Now the left leg often stays a little bent here because what we're going to be doing is a gentle twist. I hook my left thumb into the left hip crease and push the top of my left thigh towards the foot of my mat. Maybe the left knee straightens, but it's really a secondary maneuver, that straightening of the left knee, because what I'd like to do is see if I can hug the knee a little bit, the leg in a little bit to the chest, so my low back feels a little flatter. So for those of you for whom that doesn't really happen with the knee straight, bend your right knee a little bit and put your right foot flat. For me now, oh boy, now my low back is nice and flat. From here, depending on wherever your left leg is, what we can do is slowly tilt over onto the edge of your right foot, dig in with your left inner elbow, and start to roll onto the right hip, and see if your left leg can fold across your body any amount. You can certainly bend the knee as much as you like, and draw down with your strap or put your right hand on your left knee. Gently lift and shift your head slightly to the right, so that you can turn your chin to the left. If your left arm is comfortable moving out leftward, great. You might need to pull your right shoulder blade to the right so that you can twist into your stretch for your outer left hip. Choose whether your left knee is straight or bent, and see if you can move your left buttock further towards the foot of your mat. So we're lengthening through the long sides of your trunk evenly and focusing particularly on your left, the part that's on the top towards the ceiling. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Linda. Beautiful. Feel a little bit of a stretch here. Yes. And you could activate that foot for me. Yes. And so there's a felt sense of length there. Yeah. Very good. Yes, exactly. You okay here? So this is a gentle movement this way, just a little bit. Yep, you got it. That's it. And if this knee wants to drop, it can. It doesn't need to. Yep, there you go. You okay here?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, so a little stretch in here. Good. Not too aggressive. Yeah, beautiful. Julia, this is excellent. You okay here? Breathing in. It's okay to bend that knee more if you wish. Yep, little stretch for that outer hip happening. Good. One more deep breath in. You okay here? Slowly draw it out. Excellent. And when your body is ready, we'll bend that knee and come back to the center and set up for side B. Yeah, exactly. Slowly and gently. We'll be twisting now to your left. Yeah, you okay there? And keep the length in that. Yeah, you did that beautifully, right? So you're not bending to the right, but you're lengthening. Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's a different stretch. Yeah. So I'll talk about that because that's a very important thing. So as you bring your right leg across your body and over to the left, if you find that you feel like you kind of like the stretch that occurs when your hips have not rotated yet to the left, that is a nice stretch for the IT band, the outer hip muscles. For some people, that right leg might even cross way over before you substantively twist and turn onto your outer left hip. You can even put your right hand under the back of your right buttock and hip and see if you can squish your hand as you pull the right leg over. And that can sort of fold your right leg origami style against your pelvis, actually. And then you can twist and balance over onto your left hip if you wish, moving your left buttock bone to the foot of your mat. Some people even reach their right arm in a Y or V shape near the right ear in opposition to the lengthening of the right side of your trunk. Breathing. That's it, Ann. Yeah. Yep. And you can hook the right thumb in the hip crease and move that hip away from your head. Yes, exactly. That's right. That's it. There you go. So there's a little bit of that feeling of elongation, and this knee can stay bent or straight, and it can move here or not. It's all an exploration. Yeah, beautiful, Michael. Can I give you a pull? You okay?
Yep.
No, that's a hard one to do on your own. It's a little bit of a stretch for this muscle on the back of the back, the quadratus lumborum. And we even do that with our foot. You okay there? And it's okay to bend that knee a little bit. Yeah. Feel how much freedom you get in the hip. And then you can re-straighten the knee when you want to, or not. You okay there? Not too much. Good. Take your time. Beautiful, Carol. Yeah, you doing okay here? That's it. Take your time. We'll find our way back onto our back whenever you're ready. Draw the knees gently to the chest, rocking side to side. For some people, it's weirdly pleasant to curl up into a little ball. Beautiful, Terry. This is lovely. Okay here? Breathing. Nice. Yeah, that's the breath we want. And then let it go. Ah, and a nice deep breath in. And let it go. Ah, that's gorgeous. That's the idea. All right, not overworking. Beautiful. So taking your time to settle in, settle down, we'll move from your little ball curled in pose to your favorite Shavasana. Maybe you take legs up the wall. Maybe you take your Stonehenge. This one wants to go here. So we say, there you go. Exactly. We need those special rubber bands. Yep, exactly. And then you let them relax. Yeah. So taking your time, finding your way, deep relaxation. Stonehenge, you know, is my fave. 2 blocks about 8 inches apart, roughly speaking, bolster on top, backs of thighs, backs of knees, well supported, but not too scrunched up close to your bolster. So the front of the hip space is a nice wide angle rather than being short and sharp. And then the eyes, take a bath in your eye sockets. A warm bath. And your tongue takes a warm bath in your throat. And your heart takes a warm bath in your rib cage. And all of your organs take a warm bath in your peritoneal cavity and other places. Let the breath move through you softly, like a wave moving through you. Let that breath bring with it sensation. Let your body rest in sensation and allow the cognitive and the other stuff to wait in the wings just a few more minutes. That stuff is mostly the same as what you were doing yesterday in that realm, so you might as well delay observing it a few more moments. And please feel free to stay right where you are, resting as long as you wish. I'm not in any rush, so you need not move. If you're ready to start moving towards a seated position, please do feel free. Through any gentle movements of fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, elbows and knees, any collection or combination of actions that feel helpful, painting your path towards a seat. Let your eyes continue to bathe in the warmth of the eye sockets. Let the skin soften against the body, all that nice blood flow below and within the skin layers and all the other layers, the interstitium. For anyone who would like to, I'd love to do another one of those rolling ohms. We did a rolling ohm on Wednesday. And please feel free. For some people, ohm is just not comfortable or fun or enjoyable, but you might not mind listening, but you do not need to ohm. That's not your bag. This ohm is a 3-part ohm where you ohm 3 times, but at your own pace. We start with the first ohm, and then everybody just goes as they will. So we'll inhale and exhale, and then we'll go inhale and om, and then whenever you're ready for your next om, you inhale and you om, and you do one more time, you inhale and you om. So we all end up at the end having done 3, but usually landing in different places at different times, which is one of my absolute faves. So again, please feel free to just listen and with a wry smile on your face, say nothing, or take an inhale and exhale to clear your lungs. And then we'll inhale for om. Oh. Oh. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Well, hope you all have a lovely weekend. I can't believe it's Friday already. I will be here next week, except for Friday. I'm going on a silent retreat starting Wednesday night, so I will be away on Friday morning. Juin Cohen will be subbing for me, but I'll be back on Sunday. So it's just the Friday when I won't be here. I'll be here Monday, Wednesday next week. So yes. I'm sorry. That's a good question. I know I'm subbing for Juin one time, and yes, I am. I'm subbing for Juin on the 14th, Sunday at 8:30, I think it is. Thank you. Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, thank you, Eliza, for reminding me of what's in my calendar. Yes, I'm subbing for Juin if you want to come at what some people might call the crack of dawn on 90 minutes. Yep. I will. On Martin Luther King's birthday, the 15th, I will be teaching my usual schedule, 12 noon gentle. And then that Wednesday is the one where I'll be there in the morning. And then the Friday, the 19th is when I'm away. And that would be, oh, it's Sarah subbing for me, not Juin. I apologize, Sarah. So I'm subbing for Juin this weekend and Sarah subbing for me next Friday. You're welcome. All right. Thank you, Eliza. Boy, I need to have a personal assistant, but I haven't hired them yet. Take care, Debbie. Great to
Thank
see
you, Anne.
you. You're welcome. Great. Take care, Susanna. It's so nice to see
Thank you. I'm glad you
You're
had a great
welcome.
holiday.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope you did too.
Yes, yes.
Good. Wonderful.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.